Dear Bante, could you please explain the important hindrances that we need to be careful during the time we practicing meditation at home and how to overcome them?
There are 5 kinds of hindrances. Number 1 is Kama Chanda in Pali, sensual desire. Second is Vyapada. Vyapada we can say as a ill will or hatred. And the third is sloth and torpor, Tina Mitta. Tina Mitta, sloth and torpor. Fourth is Uddhatsa, Kukucha in Pali. Uddhatsa means restlessness of the mind, and Kukucha means remorse. And the fifth and the last one is the Vichikicha, skeptical doubt. So doubt. So this is the fifth. So when we practice meditation, these 5 hindrances, they arise often, they disturb often, and they block often in our meditation to not to progress. So that is also why they are called the hindrances. They block to not to progress, or they block to not to arise the mindfulness, not to arise the energy, concentration, and wisdom. They do not let to develop the wholesome minds, hence called hindrances. Among these 5, Kama Chanda, sensual desire, is the desire or the greed or the attachment, like wanting to see good, wanting to listen good, wanting to smell good, wanting to taste good, wanting to touch good. So desire to the 5 or the attachment to the 5 sense objects are called sensual desire. And they are often arising. We want to look here and there. We want to see something good or pleasurable, desirable objects, desirable views. We want to see, maybe like want to see like a dancing, or want to see like a movie. All these are the sensual desire. At the same time, wanting to listen the music, wanting to listen something good voice. This is also sensual desire. And wanting to have a good smell, wanting to eat good, always desiring to eat good foods. This is also the sensual desire. And wanting to touch good. And always we do have. We are not desiring about the sense object which is approachable, which is available in our house. We are also desiring which are not approachable, available. Those which are not with us, those things we are desiring. And not only that, as I have mentioned before, as a thinking also, as a planning also, as an imagination also, we are desiring the good things. Sometimes we want to be famous, sometimes we want to be praised by other people. These are also the sensual desire. Sensual desire. We want to be famous, or maybe as an actor, actress, or maybe as a having a good position, maybe as a politicians, maybe as a players. In this way, we have many kinds of sensual desire arising, thinking are arising, and these all are the sensual desires, kama chanda. And for example, when we are meditating in our home, like we may hear sounds or the musics played by the neighbors. So at that time, if we are enjoying, if we are intentionally listening, those musics are the sound. That is also the kama chanda. Because of the kama chanda, we are listening. Intentionally, we are listening. We are delighting on those musics, those sounds. Or sometimes while doing walking meditation, seeing something through the window, something desirable, then if we are glaring, if we are gazing or glaring, staring, so that is also due to the kama chanda, delighting on the desirable sight or the view. So in this way, the kama chanda is arising. And the second is vyabhada. Vyabhada, ill will or the hatred, or simply anger. Anger which is wanting to harm others, which is wanting to torture others by bodily, by verbally. Verbally also wanting to abuse. So this is the anger. And of course, when we remember our enemies, so at that time also anger arises, or those who have done something bad to us, when we remember, at that time also anger arises. We want to react. We want to take revenge. So that kind of mind is there. And especially like at home when we are meditating, if family members or somebody is making sound, maybe neighbors making sound, making noise, at that time also we feel we are being disturbed by those sounds. At that time also anger arises. At least mind may be saying, they want to say him or her like, don't you know that I'm meditating? So verbally also, or the bodily also, we want to abuse, we want to do something, we want to react. So these all are the vyabhada. This is the second vyabhada, and third is sloth and torpor. Sloth and torpor is simply we can understand as the sleepiness. We can also define as not wanting to assert the energy, not wanting to produce the energy, stepping back. So producing the energy is moving forward, so not wanting to produce, generate the energy is stepping back. So that is also called the sloth and torpor. So sleepiness, simply sleepiness, of course. And this is also obvious for the yogis. And the fourth is restlessness and the remorse. Restlessness is not is wavering mind, not stable, not stand still on the object. Is the opposite of the concentration. Always flying over the object. Restlessness is there. And remorse is whenever we remember what we have done wrong. So at that time also we feel sorry, we remorse. And not only when we remember what we have done bad, also when we remember that we lacked, we didn't perform the good deeds, although the situation was, or the condition was there to perform the wholesome action. So although having chance, there was the chance in the past to perform the wholesome action and not performing the wholesome action. So that is also the cause to arise the remorse. So remorse in two ways: remembering, performing what should not do, and remembering not performing what we should do. And the last one is the skeptical doubt. Doubt on triple gem and doubt on the action and its results. Like doubt on the good action brings good results, bad action brings bad results. Doubting on that principle. So especially when we are meditating, we often doubt in our practicing, like whether this is the path to attain the Nibbana, whether this is really the path to attain the real happiness. So we often doubt in our practice. So that is the doubt that often arises. So continuous observation is the way to be free from these hindrances, without any interval, without any gap. Because if there are gaps or the intervals in our mindfulness or in our energy and concentration, hindrances get chance to arise. Hindrances get chance to enter in our mind state. So we should not give that chance. We should not give that chance. And how? By observing continuously, by developing energy continuously, mindfulness continuously, concentration continuously. This is the best way. This is the best way. Not giving chance to arise. And if in case they arise, then note immediately. Just note immediately, without analyzing, without criticizing, without judging, without comparing. So just note them. By noting immediately, again, we will be dispelling, we will be subsiding them. Of course, there are many ways to overcome, to dominate these hindrances. Let's not talk them because it will take a very long time. As I just mentioned, the best way to overcome, to dominate these hindrances is to note continuously, not giving chance to arise. That is the best way. Okay, I hope question I got the answer.
Bhante, when practice Vipassana meditation, it is possible when we practice mindfulness continuously, Vipassana wisdom naturally arises, isn't it? Or do we need to practice anything else to develop insight knowledge?
Vipassana meditation will develop the insight knowledge by itself. We don't need to do anything. What we need to do is we have to just develop the strong mindfulness. If strong mindfulness is there, automatically the concentration will develop. If concentration develops, then automatically the wisdom, insight knowledge develops. We don't need to do anything in developing the wisdom, insight knowledge. So that's why we don't need to do anything. And is the Vipassana meditation is the only way to develop the insight knowledge. Vipassana insight knowledge. Okay, I hope that question I got the answer.
Dear Bante, as you have taught in previous talk that the order to the end of suffering, we must to see the nature of body and mind by insight knowledge and developing the Vipassana knowledge. That so-called formula start from identify individual characteristic and then condition characteristic and common characteristic. That means we already know a little bit about the formula of freeing from suffering. But if we don't know the formula, we continue to reborn again and again in samsara. So what is the formula of rebirth? Why we rebirth? And could you please explain in the detail for me and everyone as well? Thank you, Bante.
Okay, reborning continuously, one after another life. Dying in this life and reborning again next life. So this is the process of the continuous arising of the physicalities and the mentalities, nama and rupa. Continuous arising of the nama and rupa like a stream or the current of the river, like a current of the river. Moment is shaking. The physicalities and the mentalities are arising. So continuous arising of these physicalities and the mentalities is called the samsara. Generally, we understand the samsara as the dying and having new life, dying and having new life. Of course, that is also called the samsara, but mainly the continuous arising of physicalities and the mentalities, like a stream or the current of the river. That is the main samsara. And these physicalities, mentalities, nama, rupa, are also arising based on the cause and effect. Is physicalities, is physicality, is mentality arises due to the relevant cause, due to the relevant cause, due to the relevant condition, they arise. So there is the interlocking process of cause and effect, or we can say the cycle of the physicalities and the mentalities that we call in Pali vata cycles. Vata, which is spinning, rotating continuously without any break. And they are spinning, they are rotating, they are arising in that way based on the cause and effect. So in order to know the origin of or the cause of the rebirth or burning continuously one after next life, we will need to understand this water, the cycles. There are three kinds of cycles. Number one is the cycle of the kilesas. Cycle of the kilesas. Second is the cycle of the karma, action or the pollution. And the third is the cycle of the results. Result of the action that we have done. So three cycles. Among those three, the first one, kilesa vata, cycle of the defilements, consists three kilesas. Number one is avidya, not knowing, or illusion or the delusion. Second is craving, lobha, and the third is clinging, that we call upadana, clinging, attaching firmly, holding firmly. So these are the three kilesas included in kilesa vata. Generally, it is said as avidya tanha. Here, the Buddha used tanha, not lobha, but the mental factor is same, lobha. But we can translate tanha as hunger. Then the upadana. It is, of course, the lobha, but it is the strong phase, very strong phase of the lobha. Among these three kilesas, avidya is simply translated as the not knowing. So, but there are two kinds of avidya: simply not knowing and knowing wrongly. Avidya can be defined in these two ways: not knowing, and it is not just not knowing, but also knowing wrongly. For example, and that not knowing and knowing wrongly is about the Four Noble Truths. Mainly, not knowing about the Four Noble Truths and knowing wrongly about the Four Noble Truths. For example, like a seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. These are the truths of suffering, the first noble truth. These all are the truth of suffering. And not knowing the suffering as suffering is the first avidya. So we don't know, we ordinary people do not know, or seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, they are suffering. We don't know. It is not just about not knowing, but we know wrongly that, oh, they are not suffering, but they are the happiness. Seeing is happiness. Seeing good is happiness. Listening good is happiness. Smelling good, tasting good, touching good. These are the happiness or the cause of happiness. They are happiness. So we also know them wrongly. So in this way, not knowing and knowing wrongly. That is avidya. all the worldly physicalities and the mentalities are the suffering, are the truth of suffering. Or we say the mundane physicalities and the mentalities. Lokiya, mundane physicalities and the mentalities, or worldly physicalities and the mentalities, all are consist in the included in truth of suffering. So we don't know that, and that is not knowing. That is simply not knowing that all these mundane physicalities and the mentalities are the truth of suffering. And at the same time, we are taking wrongly, knowing wrongly that, oh, these all are the happiness. So in daily life, just imagine in our daily life, whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we smell, or taste, thoughts, think, we think all these good things are the happiness. But in reality, they are not happiness. They are suffering, and we are not knowing this, and we are taking wrongly as happiness. So not knowing and knowing wrongly is avijja. For example, someone is not knowing the east direction as the east is simple not knowing, and knowing the east as west is knowing wrongly. I repeat, someone is not knowing the direction, east direction, or this is the east. That is the simply not knowing. And he or she is knowing that direction as the west or the north or the south. So that is knowing wrongly. This is just the example. Similarly, not knowing the truth of the suffering is the simple not knowing, and knowing the suffering as happiness is the knowing wrongly. And the second noble truth is the truth of origin of suffering. And the truth of origin of suffering is the lobha, the greed. So first, avijja, we don't know that lobha is the origin of the suffering. That is also we don't know. And we are knowing wrongly that, oh, this greed is the cause of the happiness. We are knowing in that way wrongly. So in our daily life, in our worldly life, we can just imagine people think, oh, because of this greed, we are enjoying. Because of this greed, we are enjoying, we are delighting, we are having the new things, we are desiring to see good. So we try and we get that. We are desiring to hear good, smell good, taste good, touch good, and we are trying for that, and we are getting that. Oh, because of this desire, we are enjoying our life, we are getting the happiness. So we know wrongly this greed as the origin of the happiness, and that is knowing wrongly. So in this case also, in this second noble truth also, simply not knowing the origin of the suffering as the origin of the suffering, and knowing wrongly the greed as the origin of the happiness. And the third noble truth is cessation of the suffering. And of course, that is Nibbana. And avidya is not knowing simply the Nibbana as the cessation of the suffering. And that avidya also knowing wrongly that, oh, this is not the cessation of the suffering. This is the cessation of the happiness, because in Nibbana there is no physicality, no mentality. If no physicality, no mentality, then how can we enjoy happiness? Oh, it is not the happiness. It is not the free from suffering. It is not the free from suffering, but it is the cessation of the happiness. So knowing wrongly. Simply not knowing Nibbana as the cessation of the suffering, and knowing wrongly as, oh, this is not the cessation of the suffering, this is the cessation of the happiness. So avijja, not knowing and knowing wrongly. And the fourth noble truth is the path to the cessation of the suffering, and that is, of course, eighth noble path. Avijja does not know as the eightfold path as the path of the cessation of the suffering, or the path to attain Nibbana. Avijja does not know that. And avijja also knowing wrongly that, oh, this is not the path to the Nibbana or the cessation of the suffering. This is the path to the cessation of the happiness. Or if we walk this path, our suffering will not end, but the happiness will be end. So we are knowing wrongly the fourth noble truth as well. So in this way, not knowing about the four noble truths and knowing wrongly is the avijja. So due to that avijja, by not knowing suffering as suffering and knowing the suffering as happiness, what we are doing is we are attaching. We have hunger about those suffering. Like as I just mentioned, we think seeing is good, hearing is good, smelling is good, tasting is good, touching is good. Whatever existing around us, we think everything is good. So when we know in this way wrongly, and then definitely the greed will arise to have them, because we are thinking they are good, they are the happiness, they are the delightful. So definitely greed will arise, the attachment will arise. So that's why avijja is causing the greed. Avijja causing the greed. And because of greed, if something we really like, if the greed increases or it becomes stronger, then it transforms as the upadana, like holding very firmly. Do not want to let go. We just want, anyhow, we just want. That kind of mentality is the upadana. No matter what I want it, no matter what I want it. That types of mind is the upadana. And we are producing the lobha, the hunger, because we have already mentioned that we think, we believe that, oh, this hunger is not the origin of the suffering. This is the origin of the happiness. If we knew that, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, all the things are suffering, then we will not attach because we don't like suffering. So that is the one reason we are producing the lobha. And the second is we are believing, we are knowing as, oh, lobha is good. Lobha is the origin of the happiness. Because of the lobha, we are enjoying, we are delighting, we are gaining happiness. So in this way, we are generating the lobha. A frog is being chased by the snake, is like a lobha. And when the snake catch and hold on in the mouth, that is like a upadana. Now the snake will not release, will not let free the frog. It holds very firmly. Similarly, when we hold very firmly with greed, do not want to let go, no matter what, that kind of mentality is the upadana. Holding like a snake, holding very firmly, like a snake is holding frog in the mouth. So because of these three, the kilesa vata, the cycle of the defilements, we are performing action. We are performing action. Like we like something. We think it is good. It is cause of happiness. When we think like that, we want to get it. We want to have it. We want to gain it. So to gain, so of course we need to perform the action. So we are performing the action. So that when we perform the action, if we have a good mentality, then we do it fearfully. We try to get it fearfully, fairly, in right way. If we don't have the good mentality, then again, we will try to get them or get it in wrong way, unfairly. So that means we perform unwholesome action. So when we perform fairly with a good intention, then wholesome action take place. Then if not, then unwholesome action take place. Again, we are performing the wholesome and the unwholesome action because again we have the same thing, not knowing and knowing wrongly, that whatever we are trying to get by doing action is the happiness or is the cause of happiness. That is what we are knowing wrongly. So that's why we are trying to get it, and we are performing wholesome or the unwholesome actions. So in this way, the second vata, the second cycle, take place as a kamma vata, cycle of the actions. And when kamma vata, the cycle of the karma or the pollution take place, definitely, no doubt, a result will be there. If you are doing good, then the good results will be there. If you are doing bad or the unwholesome, then definitely bad results will be there. And those results are called, the cycle of the results are the vipaka vata. If we perform the wholesome deeds, wholesome action, we will reborn in the good existence. And if we do the unwholesome action, we will reborn in the lower existence as a result of that action. And in that life also, the same thing repeats because of not knowing wrongly, and because of not knowing simply the Four Noble Truths again. So again, the same cycle repeats again and again. That is why we die, we reborn, we die, we reborn. The samsara, the continuous current of the dying and the reborning is taking place. Or the continuous, the stream of the physicalities and the mentalities are taking place. So until we realize the Four Noble Truths by practicing meditation, this samsara will continue. This water will keep spinning, keep rotating. By practicing meditation, meditators will realize by themselves that all the physicalities, all the mentalities, the mundane physicalities, mentalities are the suffering, They will realize by themselves. When they will realize by themselves, the avijja will be subsided. So, because they realize, they discover suffering as suffering. And wrongly knowing is also subsided. When realize suffering as suffering, so nobody want to cling or attach on that. So the origin of the suffering also will be subsided. So no more attachment, no more clinging. So at the same time, we are walking on the path to the Nibbana. Okay, I hope Krishna got the answer. Okay, one yogi is raising her hand. So let's give her chance.
Dear Bante, she want to ask question about, she's sitting meditation about 1 hour, but for 30 to 40 minutes, she feel many hindrances. It's about like you have say, Tina Mitra, thinking and wondering, worry. So the mind observing just cannot sink deep in the object. And also when few minutes at the end of the sitting, she can more concentrate and observe the object more clearly and can have the mindfulness better. But now it's very close to the end, so don't have too much time. She want to ask Bante about, can she sitting more time, more than 1 hour to practice, because at the end of sitting she can have more concentrate.
Yeah, of course she can. Of course, why not? But we have to make sure that our concentration and the energy is balanced to each other. So, for example, like you do more than 1 hour, you can do, of course, 1 hour and 15 minutes, 1 hour and a half minute, 1 hour and 30 minutes. You can do in that way. And before or after that sitting, you will need to do a good walking meditation. Because if you don't, then you may again suffer by the sloth and torpor. If there is the excessiveness of the concentration than the energy, then that also causes the sloth and torpor. So make sure that you are doing good walking before or after that sitting. And next thing what you can do is like you can recollect the way, like the way of practicing, like you see just mentioned after 40 or the 50 minutes later, mindfulness is good, concentration better, then you have to recollect. You have to recollect that situation, how you are aiming the object at that time, how you are applying the energy, or how much energy you are applying. So you have to recollect that and you have to apply the same thing from the beginning of the meditation. So if you become able to apply the similar energy and aiming in the same way, then of course from the very beginning also your meditation, sitting meditation can be better. So that is also what we can do. Okay, I hope so. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.